this video, we will show you how to exchange the cooling liquid pump as well as the suction hose and check valve of the cooling liquid pump of your E4. The cooling liquid pump needs to be exchanged every 2000 operating hours. For this task, have the following items ready: a spare cooling liquid pump, a cloth to collect leaking liquid, a pair of pliers and a small wire cutter. Remove the cooling liquid tank. Switch off the machine at the main power switch and disconnect all lines. Remove the left side panel. We provide a video on this topic. The cooling liquid pump is always exchanged together with the suction hose and the check valve. The suction hose and check valve can also be exchanged separately. For this task, jump to the corresponding chapter. Cut the 4 cable ties that fix the suction hose with the wire cutter. Pull the suction hose out of the immersion tube. Collect leaking liquid with the cloth. If you only want to exchange the suction hose, also press the clamps of the hose clamp together and pull the suction hose from the angled hose connector. Collect leaking liquid with the cloth. Then, jump to the chapter on installing the suction hose. To disconnect the check valve from the upper hose, press the ring down and pull out the hose. Collect leaking liquid with the cloth. If you only want to exchange the check valve, disconnect both hoses from the check valve. Then, jump to the chapter on installing the check valve. To remove the cooling liquid pump, pull the plug of the connection cable out of the socket. Open the reusable cable tie that fixes the cooling liquid pump in place by pressing the pin and pulling the cable tie apart. If your machine comes with a non-reusable cable tie, cut the cable tie. Pull the cooling liquid pump out of the holder and remove it from the machine. Carefully guide the suction hose, check valve and connection cable through the opening on the side. If you removed the old cable tie, insert the provided reusable cable tie like shown. Pick up the spare cooling liquid pump and position it in the machine. Guide the suction hose, check valve and the connection cable through the opening on the side. Press the cooling liquid pump into the bracket until you hear a click. Fasten the cooling liquid pump with the cable tie. Plug the connection cable into the corresponding connection in the machine. Connect the check valve to the hose by pushing it in completely. If you are only exchanging the check valve, make sure that the arrow on the check valve is pointing up. Connect both hoses to the check valve by pushing them in completely. Then, jump to the chapter on reassembling the machine. To install the suction hose, spread a pea-sized amount of collet chuck grease on the suction hose. Then, insert it into the immersion tube up to the bulge. If you are only exchanging the suction hose, also press the brackets of the hose clamp together and push it over the suction hose. Hold the angled hose connector with one hand. With the other hand, push the suction hose onto the angled hose connector. Make sure that the suction hose is seated like shown. Then press the brackets of the hose clamp together and pull it over the angled hose connector. Fasten the suction hose with 4 cable ties. Make sure that the bulges of the suction hose are positioned in the recesses. Cut off the protruding part of the cable tie with the wire cutter. Reassemble the machine housing. Watch our video on this topic. You can find the link in the video description. For the last step, switch on your machine at the main power switch. Open the maintenance section in Dental CNC and mark the corresponding task as complete. Exchanging the cooling liquid pump. This will keep your list up to date. For the complete operating instructions, visit dentalportal.info/E4. We hope that this was helpful. Thank you for watching.